Just try to be precise with it.
Out of all you fighters I see getting on, doing the mid work or the pad work, whatever you want to call it, I see y'all doing all this.
Gervonta Davis is furious after seeing Jake Paul train with Floyd Mayweather ahead of the upcoming fight. Floyd explains that boxing is about discipline, conditioning, and testing who can hit the hardest. He emphasizes that true boxing is not just about movement, but about pushing limits in training and seeing who endures. His words immediately spark tension, as Davis feels overlooked. While Floyd praises Jake Paul's commitment to training and stepping into the ring, Davis takes it as a personal insult. To him, Floyd's backing of Jake is a slap in the face, a sign that his legacy as one of boxing's most feared fighters is being disrespected. For Davis, this fight was already personal, but now it's become about more than money or pride. It's about proving to Floyd, to Jake, and to the entire boxing world that no YouTuber, no outsider, can ever overshadow a champion in his prime.
I just like to push myself to be the best at whatever I do. It could be basketball, football. My dad introduced me to boxing in 1977, and I just took it to the next level. I love boxing, I love competing, and I love being the best. It was good with the fight camp so people can compete with one another, push each other, and it's fun. People want to see who hit the hardest, who's the fastest, who could throw the most punches, so it's a great product. It's about just competing and working hard, getting in shape, and enjoying yourself while you're doing it.
Pauli Malignagi's perspective on Gervonta "Tank" Davis is rooted in history. He stresses that, despite any personal disagreements or ongoing tension between Tank and Floyd Mayweather, there's no denying Floyd's influence on the young star's career. According to Malignaggi, Mayweather was instrumental in sharpening Tank's technique, instilling discipline, and giving him the foundation that separates elite fighters from the rest. Even if Tank publicly downplays Floyd's importance or highlights their current feud, the truth remains, the years spent under Floyd's mentorship mold him into the fighter he is today. Malignaggi believes that without Mayweather's guidance, Tank's rise to superstardom might not have been as rapid or as dominant.
He's a flashy guy, and I actually like that win for Gervonta.
Ryan Garcia.
Ryan Garcia, a lot of fluff again, because he's a YouTuber who's never accomplished anything else besides being a YouTuber. Though there is talent there, it's unfulfilled and untapped talent, and the loss to Rolly Romero tells you that. So what has Gervonta Davis created, aside from being a manufactured creation that got a big push from Floyd Mayweather? Let's be honest here. A big push from Floyd Mayweather. And then after that, let's match him very carefully, because what do? We wanted to do the same thing with Adrian Broner, who had the balls to fight everybody. Say what you will about Adrian Broner, had the balls to fight everybody. Didn't duck a single fight. And they said, you know what? We wanted to do this with Adrian Broner. We wanted to just manufacture a star before he was made into a star. And we kind of messed up by matching him too tough. So the pendulum swung in the complete opposite direction here. It's not like you balanced it out. You went in the complete opposite direction and made this guy fight absolutely nobody constantly. And let me tell you something about the Lamont Roach fight. He's a 16-1 underdog going into the fight because they knew they didn't want to fight anybody who was a risk. There's a reason he's ducking the Lamont Roach rematch now. Because now you realize, wow, this guy is a...
Jeff Mayweather's comments cut straight to the heart of the debate over a potential clash between Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Jake Paul, the size gap. According to Jeff, Jake Paul is simply too big, both in natural weight and overall frame. Boxing has weight classes for a reason, and this matchup disregards that principle entirely. Davis has built his career in the lighter divisions, thriving on speed, timing, and explosive power within his natural range. Jake, on the other hand, has consistently campaigned at cruiserweight, where fighters carry an entirely different physical build. Jeff argues that putting the two in the same ring doesn't just test competitiveness, it calls fairness itself into question.
It's kind of weird, because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank. And I mean, but with it being exhibition, makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's going to be fighting. But I mean, it really makes no sense because he's going to be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank's going to probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand why the fight.
Promoter Eddie Hearn echoed a similar sentiment but pushed the conversation further. He argued that boxing and entertainment need to remain distinct, and a fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul dangerously blurs that line. In Hearn's view, the matchup isn't competitive in the truest boxing sense. It's built as a business venture, fueled by celebrity power and social media hype. The stark size disparity alone, he said, proves this isn't about testing skill on equal ground, but about selling a spectacle to the masses. Hearn acknowledged that, financially, the fight would be huge, global headlines, packed arenas, record-breaking pay-per-view sales. But as someone who has always advocated for real sporting merit, he finds it troubling when commercial gain outweighs legitimacy. Still, with his promoter's hat on, Hearn admitted the obvious: it would be a promoter's dream, a guaranteed blockbuster, even if purists believe the sports standards are being compromised.
Next year, and they always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I know that I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show, it's entertainment, it's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, you know, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round? I don't know what it is, but, you know, I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. However you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
In the meantime, then, Eddie, where does that leave you with Anthony Joshua? Are you exploring other options for the end of this year, or are you still looking at that fight for the beginning?
Yeah, no, we're not interested in the Jake Paul fight right now. After that, I mean, like, you know, we're not going to wait around till November. Is it November or December, whenever it is, and see how he gets on. I mean, if he gets chinned by Gervonta Davis, we can't exactly make the Anthony Joshua fight.
Former UFC champion Michael Bisping brought a different angle to the conversation. He pointed out that in exhibition fights, money often dictates the outcome more than skill. And in this case, Jake Paul might actually have the edge over Gervonta Davis, not because he's the better fighter, but because of his size advantage and the financial dynamics surrounding the event. Bisping stressed that exhibitions aren't held to the same standards as sanctioned title fights. When entertainment and money take priority, strange results can happen. With Jake's bigger frame and the looser nature of an exhibition, Bisping believes the scales could tilt in Paul's favor.
You know what? Fair play. If he does go out and fight Anthony Joshua, which I wouldn't advise because that would be extremely dangerous, then fair play if he was to do that. And all the critics and people like myself would have to shut the hell up, because I always said he's looking for fights that were manufactured, looking for fights that were predetermined. And by that, I don't mean fake fights. I don't mean fixed fights. I mean fights where the odds are so stacked in his favor that, of course, he's going to win. And, of course, we see this. The latest match that's going to go down November 14th at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Jake Paul is taking on, you've seen it by now, Gervonta Tank Davis. A man that is a lightweight in boxing. Now, lightweight in MMA is 155 pounds. Lightweight in boxing, 135 pounds. Jake Paul, I think when he weighed in for Mike Tyson, was 227 pounds.
Official weight, 227.2 pounds.
That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference. Almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage, which is absolutely ridiculous. How can you be out there claiming to want to fight the best people on the planet and then going out there and taking on a guy that is maybe 92 pounds heavier, that is at least 65 pounds heavier than you. That is called one thing. That's called being a bully. It was bad enough when he fought Mike Tyson, a man that was 58 years old, and he was walking around like, oh, I just beat the baddest man on the planet. I just destroyed Mike Tyson and went out there and I beat him, and him and his brother are all celebrating and shit like that. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
The Wade concept broke it down perfectly. Jake Paul isn't just a fighter, he's a master manipulator. He knows exactly how to push buttons, how to provoke rivals, and how to turn hype into opportunity. According to Wade, Jake baited Gervonta Davis into this matchup by flaunting his wealth, creating buzz, and dangling an irresistible payday. This isn't about legacy for Davis, it's about money. Jake's real weapon isn't his right hand, it's his ability to market, promote, and psychologically manipulate. By flashing his fortune and using his platform, Jake pressured Davis into saying yes to a fight that makes more sense financially than it ever will competitively.
So and again, Jake's only been boxing for 5, 6, 7 years now. It isn't necessarily far-fetched to try to have his own advantages when trying to fight other boxers that have been far more experienced than him. But this one's a little too much, right? This one is crazy because of the massive weight difference. It doesn't make a ton of sense. But again, as far as a sport fight is concerned, I want to make sure I make that clear. Again, this is not me hating on it, because I do think that both guys have been very upfront with what they're doing in this fight and what their goals are with these kind of events. But the narrative Jake's trying to create as if this is like proving anything for him fighting a real fighter when Gervonta is so much smaller than he is. It'll prove something in the fact that Jake is willing to put on great events, but it won't prove anything to the people that are asking him to fight a real fighter. I will say though, if Jake goes out and flatlines Gervonta, the casual audience that will say Gervonta smokes Jake completely and utterly, like it wouldn't even be close, that will change their minds a little bit. Not the people that know boxing, but the people that are going to watch this, the casual viewer that know the name Gervonta Davis and know the name Jake Paul. If he is to compete with Gervonta at all or look good in that fight, people will in some way accept that. Or they'll do the other thing where they just say the fight's rigged, which has never been the case, but you get what I'm saying. What Jake is doing is trying to convince a casual audience that he belongs in the ring with bigger names. If he's able to hurt Gervonta at all, that might actually do it.
The undefeated lightweight champion of the world,
with a record of 30-0, 28 knockouts.
And this one is over.
The brick
He's been
hand.
boxing since he was 5 years old and turned pro when he was 18.
Gervonta Davis at 22 becomes the youngest champion in boxing.
And guess what? Just like everybody,
Ryan Garcia, a longtime rival of Gervonta Tank Davis, didn't hold back. He called Jake Paul's move nothing more than a cheap publicity stunt. In Garcia's eyes, the only reason Davis took this fight was money. Real fighters, he argued, chase legacy, belts, and history, not oversized paydays against bigger men. To him, accepting this matchup undermines the integrity of competition. Instead of building greatness through worthy opponents, Davis let the dollar signs dictate his decision. Of course, Garcia's criticism comes with a layer of rivalry, since he's been trading shots with Tank for years. But his words echo a wider sentiment that this fight is about cash, not credibility.
That last week shook up the boxing game, Jake Paul versus Tank, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like everyone's talking about it. It's a whole thing. A lot of people liked it, didn't like it.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you first saw that it was a thing?
It pissed me the fuck off, bro.
Yeah, why?
It's just disappointing on mainly Jake's end. You know, we're not falling for the Disney Channel bit no more. We're not falling for you're not a fighter no more. We're not falling for that. You know, you're ranked as a cruiserweight and you're out here trying to fight a lightweight. And then on top of it, you were just talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. That doesn't make no sense. And, you know, I just felt like it was a disgrace to boxing and kind of it was not a good move by Jake Paul. You know, I understand people saying, you know, Gervonta got to go get his money, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, like, we're not talking about that shit. We're talking about the sport, bro. We're not talking about, oh, he got to get that money, bro. Yeah, but everybody's open to criticism. That's the whole point of this media shit.
Right.
That's why they talk about basketball players. They don't talk about, well, LeBron's making too much. Like, nobody cares, bro. If LeBron's missing the shot, he's missing the fucking shot. So at the end of the day, bro, I just thought it was a disgrace to the sport. Because on one end, you know, you got the casuals, right? The casuals don't see the weight difference. They see Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis.
Yeah.
And if Gervonta Davis doesn't fuck up Jake Paul, they're going to think Jake Paul is some pound-for-pound champion type of fighter.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just it's tricking the public, and it's kind of bullshit, bro, at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, if Gervonta was Jake Paul's size, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. There probably wouldn't even be a fight.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I just think that it's a disgrace to boxing.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, breakdowns, and all the drama leading up to fight night. Until next time, take care and keep watching the fight game unfold.